So let's talk about a really fascinating and honestly kind of counterintuitive way to solve problems in a long-term relationship. The big idea is this. To fix things, the first step isn't to try harder, to grab the reins tighter. Nope, it's to do the exact opposite. It's to let go. All right, let's dive right in with the big question. Why does trying to control your partner, to get them to do what you want, why does it always seem to blow up in our faces? It feels like it should work, right? But as we're about to see, that very instinct might be the thing that's actually torpedoing the relationship. So first things first, we've got to define the real problem. And it's not just, arguing about who does the dishes or what to watch on TV. The real root issue is a dynamic that we can call the control trap. And it all starts with one specific behavior. And that behavior is captured perfectly by this Korean word, gusok. It literally means to bind or to shackle. In a relationship, it's that moment you stop seeing your partner as a separate, whole person and start treating them like something you own, something you have the right to manage. And that, right there, is the fundamental mistake. And what's the very first thing that happens when you try to exert that kind of control? You create a liar. I mean, think about it. If your partner knows they're going to get a 20-minute lecture for staying out a little late with a friend, what's going to happen? They're not going to stop seeing their friend. They're just going to stop telling you about it. You don't actually change the behavior. You just push it underground. Now, this control dynamic, it doesn't just stay there. It starts to poison the well. And it often leads to this very specific fantasy. The idea that every other couple out there has it figured out, and yours is the only one that's a mess. There's this fantastic Korean saying that just nails it. The other person's rice cake always looks bigger. It's the ultimate grass is always greener problem, isn't it? You look at your friend's happy posts, or you meet their partner at a party, and you can't help but think, man, why can't my partner be more like that? And this is why that myth is so powerful and so wrong. When you interact with a friend or their partner, you are seeing their highlight reel. It's the curated version. They're dressed up, they're in a good mood, they're telling their best stories. But with your spouse, you see the whole shebang, the unfiltered behind-the-scenes documentary. You see the morning breath, the sick days, the bad moods. You're comparing their raw footage to someone else's movie trailer. It's not a fair fight. So, how do you break out of this trap? Well, it's not about learning a new communication trick. It's about a deep, fundamental shift in how you see the person you share your life with. The very first step is to take the mental model you have of a spouse and just throw it in the trash, especially if that model includes the idea that a spouse is someone you need to manage or a role you need to enforce. That idea that you get to be their manager just because you're married, that's the core of the problem. And here is the big shift. What if, instead, you started treating your partner with the exact same level of respect and trust you'd give to your absolute best friend? Or maybe a colleague that you hold in the highest regard. You wouldn't demand to see their calendar or approve of their friends. You'd just trust them because you respect them as an equal. And this is what that actually looks like day to day. It means you trust them to handle their own life. It means you grant them the freedom to be a whole person outside of the relationship. It means your focus shifts to how can we help each other win? That's true partnership. And you talk to each other like equals, not like a parent and a child. Now listen, this isn't just some nice, fluffy, feel-good advice. This is presented as an unbreakable law of human interaction. Trying to control another human being, it always comes with a cost. I mean, just feel the weight of that. The price for restricting freedom is always paid by the one who restricts it. The idea is that all the resentment, all the lies, all the distance that your control creates, it doesn't just vanish, it boomerangs. It comes back and hits you. It's presented as a law, as certain as gravity. And here's the crucial part. It's not a sudden event. It's a chain reaction. It starts with you restricting their freedom. That makes lying necessary just for them to have a little breathing room. Over time, all those little restrictions and lies build into a huge mountain of resentment. And eventually, the pressure becomes too much, and you get a relationship earthquake, a crisis that can just shatter everything. A really simple way to get your head around this is to think about an animal. You can put a dog on a leash, right? You can control its movements. And in that context, it makes sense. But people are not dogs. Humans are fundamentally different. We are wired with a deep, primal need for freedom and autonomy. It's essential to our sense of self. So to treat another person like an animal that you can leash is to deny their basic humanity. And a person's spirit will always push back against that, whether it's out in the open or in secret. Okay, so if control is the poison, then what in the world is the antidote? What does the path forward actually look like, practically speaking? Step 1, and it's the hardest one, but it is absolutely non-negotiable. You have to grant them genuine freedom. And I don't mean permission that you can take away later. I mean a real, deep, from-the-gut acknowledgement that they are a sovereign individual. You have to trust them to live their life. Now, this next part is just brilliant. All that time and mental energy you used to spend worrying, checking up on them, trying to manage them, you reclaim all of it, and you invest it back into yourself. Use that new space to work on your own goals, your own happiness, your own growth, become a more interesting person. And this is the beautiful payoff. When you both have the freedom to grow and improve on your own, you can come back together not as a warden and a prisoner, but as two stronger, more complete individuals. You're actually in a much better position to truly help and support each other, building a partnership based on mutual respect, not on fear. So we'll end with this question, because it really reframes the entire purpose of a relationship. Maybe the goal isn't to manage another person's life. Maybe the real adventure is discovering what two free, independent, and supportive people can create together. It's a pretty powerful thought to sit with.